Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha Kodash, and double honors to our venerable apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and peace and blessings to the Lord's elect, the house of David. All right, so Brother Haran, coming back at you with a quick lesson, and this time we're going live. All right, nonetheless, Lord willing to be edifying and uplifting. All right, onto the elect. All right, and today is October the 6th, 2024, the hopeful year of Jacob's trouble. All right, and earlier today, or actually just about an hour ago or so, my brother sent me an article or a post on X, formerly known as Twitter, and it was a public service announcement, all right, a PSA of basically the FBI giving out a warning of October 7th, which is tomorrow, of a potential attack, so-called, all right, by Hamas, and basically on the anniversary of October 7th, as we all know what happened um, last year, all right, in Israel, so-called, okay? So that's what they're saying, all right, and it prompted me through the spirit to kind of get into it. I'm going to read a little bit about, or actually read the whole thing, the PSA, all right, because I'm not sure if everybody has heard about it, all right. I wasn't able to pull it up on the screen, so I'm just going to read it out, all right, and then we're going to go into the potential of what this means if this was actually supposed to happen. Um, again, whether it be tomorrow, which is the 7th, or sometime later this year, whatever, right? We know, according to biblical prophecy, that there's something that has to happen, a major event, okay, pertaining to First Thessalonians, the 5th chapter, all right, going into sudden destruction, all right. There's many different precepts that goes into uh, the time of trouble coming in a sudden manner, okay, and to those who are not watching. And typically, America has been grooming its citizens to not watch, to not pay attention. All right, that's why they're able to put all their plans in your face, and you still have people who are not going to believe it because they just can't see it. All right, but through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, the elect can see it. All right, that's why we pay attention, we watch it, we don't sit around and just, oh well, the government's going to take care of it. Nah, all right, because we sift, all right, things that's going on around the world through the lens of prophecy, all right, or the sieve of prophecy, okay, that goes into the Bible, all right, the true understanding of the scriptures, all right. This is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, start off at verse 1. It says, I will stand upon my watch, right, going back to the men of the Lord being watchmen, okay. The apostles were actually going into that, all right, I believe yesterday, okay, as to why we watch everything, okay, because the Lord has made us watchmen, pertaining to Ezekiel 3:17, you know. So that's why we watch everything. Scripture says, be not ignorant of any matter, small or great, okay, because we understand that a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump. So, when you catch something small, in order to alert the sheep, okay, that's why we watch. We want to alert the sheep to let them know that, hey, there's danger right there. Pay attention. Watch. That's why the Lord gave you those eyes to see, so you can watch. It says, I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and I will watch to see what he will say unto me. So that's, again, you're scoping out the area. Okay? You're watching, you're waiting. And what I shall answer when I am reproved. Okay? It says, and the Lord, and that means that's in other words, you're sharp. Okay? Whatever anyone says, all right, you have the appropriate answer to give according to scripture. Okay? It says, and the Lord Yahweh answered and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. Right? And that's the times that we're in. Okay, the visions have been written, they've been made plain in the scriptures, and now we're running to give the message, to give you the breakdown. so you can understand what's written, so you can better prepare for what's coming. Because a lot of the things that's written in the scriptures is all pertaining to judgment. Okay, especially in these times that we're living in, the things that have already happened, we don't really need to talk too much about. Our main focus is on prophecy, the things that are yet to come. That's why the Lord sent prophets. Okay, and one of the major things that's going to happen is martial law. Okay, now you're starting to see FEMA, all right, coming into the frame with the so-called Hurricane Helene that happened. All right, it's caused FEMA to jump back into the fray. And we know that when you start hearing the names FEMA and those kind of things, you know, with disasters, just understand that they're not here to help you, as is evident out in the Carolinas as to what's going on. There's a lot of information coming out that FEMA is actually blocking off people from getting assistance to those who need it. Okay, so if that doesn't ring a bell, then man, again, this place is done. All right, now it's time for the American people, all right, the so-called uh, proud Americans. They're proud of America. Them people, you're about to start seeing that your country has led you down the wrong path, and you, unfortunately, you aided in that wrong path. So judgment is coming. So again, it says, going back to Habakkuk 2:3, it says, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end, it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry." So we've been talking about, martial law. Like I said, we've been talking about FEMA camps, concentration camps. We've been talking about, depopulation, right? How these world governments are all coming together to create this so-called New World Order, and in that New World Order, you're gonna have draconian measures that leads to everyone being mandatorily, uh, uh, basically, it's by them creating a law that makes it mandatory to have a C-hip in your body, fulfilling the book of Revelation, the 13th chapter, the 16th verse, 17th and 18th verses. All right, going into the MOTB. Okay, so that's why the Lord sent us here. So the time of Jacob's trouble that we're starting to see pick up, all right, a time like never before. Okay, we know that it is during these times that we get to see all these things we've been talking about. And how do we know this is going to happen? Is because the governments are actually preparing for it. They've been doing it for years, and we were just, dumb enough to see it. Let me just put it that way. All right. That's why no one takes us seriously. Oh, you guys are just dumb. Oh, yeah, whatever. Okay, we'll see. Right? It says, "Though it tarry, wait for it, it will surely come. It will not what? It will not tarry." Okay, so now let's go into this real quick. I wanted to show this video here. It's a spirit. These kind of videos I used to watch years ago, and sometimes I'll try to look it up, but I couldn't find them. And the Lord had a way where I was able to find these videos, and I was like, "Yo, they still up? That's crazy." And it dates all the way back. You could check this out. All right, change the channel. All right, is the name. Okay, and this video goes all the way back 14 years ago. Okay, 14 years ago. So that's when YouTube, you could post whatever, you could put anything on there, before they came up with all these so-called, rules and regulations and all that, which really is their attempt to quell the truth, right? Because most of the people that woke up to this truth is through YouTube, right? The unicorn. So they found out that, damn, like, man, what? We aided these people in waking up, all right? And of course, I'm going to play a little bit of this clip here, but it's a 2 hour and 20-minute video, so I will put the link in the description. All right, and as a matter of fact, let me do this right now. 144, you see that? Um, let's see. I'm gonna put this in the description or in the comments, and then you could check it out, on your own time. Right, watch the whole video if you want. Right, but at least you have the link to it. All right, so we're gonna watch a little bit of it. about 7 minutes in. All right, and it goes into exactly what I want to spot out, what I want to highlight. Okay, the executive orders and legislations, which is something that we brought out. All right, on numerous occasions, brothers always bring these kind of things out from time to time. Okay, and that's just to remind you that yes, this is in fact part of biblical prophecy that we're all going to witness. Okay, now before I go into all that, right, the reason why this is all coming about is because of this so-called public service announcement. All right, so let's read real quick. All right, it says alert number I-10 blah blah PSA October 4th, 2024. So today is the 6th, so 2 days ago. Anniversary of October 7, 2023. Hamas attacks may motivate individuals to violence in the United States. Okay, let's listen to the key words they're using. Summary: the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the FBI, and Department of Homeland Security, DHS, are issuing this public service announcement to highlight potential threats in the United States from a variety of actors. It's just a very interesting way they word things. Actors sounds like a stage, right? Actors, right? Okay. In response to the 1 year anniversary of the Hamas attacks on Israel on October 7, 2023, and consistent calls by foreign terrorist organizations, otherwise known as FTOs, to their supporters seeking to provoke violence in the West. So listen to the verbiage. It sounds like they're promoting something. It's like a plot to a movie, you know? And it's interesting. That's crazy that I said that because we'll get there. We'll get there. All right, but remember that it's like a plot to a movie, okay? Because it's all staged, it's all planned. All right, they have these things already set up. They just have to create the perfect scenario in order for this to take effect. Okay, so everything is being done and controlled. So don't think that this is just happening. Nah. All right, it's happening at its appointed time pertaining to biblical prophecy. Okay. So continue, it says threat. The FBI and DHS assesses the 1 year anniversary of the October 7, 2023 attacks that initiated the ongoing Israel-Hamas conflict, as well as any further significant escalations in the conflict. Again, when they say the word or use the word conflict, they mean war. Okay, conflict is just, let me see if I, there you go. Conflict is just another name or a code name for war. As a matter of fact, let me see if I can get a little bit more on that. Okay, in this book here, let me find conflict. All right, Esau's a devil like that. They always use this, as it says, they speak with a forked tongue. All right, the Edomite is a liar. Okay, and he lies through his teeth. All right, this is this is a book Spanglish, or the Definitive Dictionary of Deliberately Deceptive Language. All right, and the word conflict, as they're using, okay, in this PSA, right, literally means a war that is deliberately not called a war because if it were, the legal provisions of the Geneva Conventions would apply. Okay, now I believe the Geneva Conventions was some. Let me see something. Hold on. Let's do this together. Let's see. Geneva Convention. Let's see what we got here. All right. It says the Geneva Conventions are international humanitarian laws, which are laws that also refer to as the laws of armed conflict, is a law that regulates the conduct of a war. It is a branch of international law that seeks to limit the effects of armed conflict by protecting persons who are not participating in hostilities and by restricting and regulating the the means and methods of warfare available to combatants. So what you're seeing in Israel, the whole Israel-Gaza situation, that would be a violation of international humanitarian laws because there's news coming out that the Israelis bombing the land of Gaza, well, in Palestine, but the people of Gaza, all right, which is why they're bringing out this whole thing. Oh, we're retaliating. We have the right to defend ourselves, and so on and so forth, and just using it as an excuse to commit genocide, right? That would be a violation of international humanitarian laws. Once again, these are the times that the Lord talked about, and even the Apostle Paul talked about, that the man of sin is being revealed. Well, his very actions show who he is. So it's really not that hard. They just don't want the world to really notice it, right? We're pointing it out, so they demonize us, so the world doesn't look at us as credible. But everything we're saying is true, all right? And they don't even hide it. The Lord got the Spirit on them to reveal themselves for who they really are. You listen to guys like Harari, all right, and the things that he comes out and says from the WEF, all right, that I don't even know what kind of description he would fit if I was to give him if I was to report him to somebody. I don't know what kind of how would I describe that guy, you know? And then you got Larry Fink from BlackRock. He looks like he's missing a few chromosomes. He just got that look on his face. There's something wrong with that guy, you know? But they're all working together, all right, to bring about these draconian times that we're about to enter into. And they're doing it all through deception. Part of the deception is what we're reading here. The auto apkeo mantra of predictive problem reaction solution. In order to bring order, we must create chaos. We must create the environment that will be a catalyst for us to bring in those new measures that otherwise wouldn't have been able to be passed. Okay, and they're done through something known as executive orders. All right, so let's finish the threat, right? Going back to what the public service announcement is saying. It says the FBI and DHS assesses the 1 year anniversary of the October 7, 2023 attacks that initiated the ongoing Israel-Hamas conflict. Conflict, once again, we know is war, right? It's just another name. Oh, we didn't finish that. So like, we'll finish that in a minute. As well as any further significant escalations in the conflict may be a motivating factor for violent extremists and hate crime perpetrators to engage in violence or threaten public safety. Ah, that's that word again, or that phrase, public safety. You know, public safety. That's gonna come into play major. All right, because it's because of public safety why they're gonna come up with these draconian measures. Okay, so going back to this Geneva Conventions, right? So it says the Geneva Conventions are international humanitarian laws consisting of 4 treaties and 3 additional protocols that establish international legal standards for humanitarian treatment in war. Right, so we understand what that means. Okay, that there are certain laws that will prohibit the countries that are going to war, at least their military, they can't involve, non-fighting citizens. Okay, women, children, you can't be bombing hospitals and little child care centers. Like that's what these devils are doing. You know, it is just disgusting at this point. It says a singular term, Geneva Convention, colloquially denotes the agreements of 1949 negotiated in the aftermath of the Second World War, which was 1939 to 1945, which updated the terms of the two 1929 treaties and added 2 new conventions. The Geneva Conventions extensively define the basic rights of wartime prisoners, civilians, and military personnel, establish protections for the wounded and sick, and provide protections for the civilians in and around a war zone. So, what's going on here? So that means that Israel is in extreme violation of the Geneva Convention. All right, because they're caught in what is known as a conflict, right? And that conflict, the DHS and the FBI is saying that due to that conflict that started back in October 7, 2023, well, the 1 year anniversary could lead to something like this. He says, over the past year, we have observed violent extremist activity and hate crimes in the United States linked to the conflict. Interesting. Well, it's good to know. It's good information to know because we didn't know that. Well, at least I didn't know that. I didn't know that there was extremism and stuff like that going on due to what's going on in what happened on October. So I didn't know that. That's news to me. So you know, that's good information to know. It says so they've been observing all these things. There's violent extremism and hate crimes and all that. They've been they've been um, observing them. That's it. That's all they've been doing, just observing. Mm, okay. It says and Jewish, Muslim, and Arab institutions, including synagogues. Let's listen to this: mosques slash Islamic centers and community centers, and large public gatherings, such as memorials, vigils, or other lawful demonstrations, present attractive targets for violent attacks or for hoax threats by a variety of threat actors. You're telling yourself, huh? Interesting. Including violent extremists and hate crime perpetrators. Wow. Such actors may view the anniversary as an opportunity to conduct an attack or other high profile illegal activity. Interesting. So thank you, DHS and FBI, for letting us know that you're just incompetent and you don't know how to do shit. Because you're telling us all this, and then what are we supposed to do about it? Hmm? Let's see if they have actors. I wish they had it here. Let me see. Because then, nah, it doesn't look like they have it here in this book. It'd be nice to understand what they mean by actors here. Yeah, they didn't put that in there. That's okay though. All right, but we can look it up. Right? We can look it up. We can always look it up. So an actor, right? What is an actor? Since they want to use that word, actor. An overseer, guardian, steward. Hmm. An agent, ooh, or doer. Interesting. See? A driver, okay, of sheep. Hmm. Sheeple, driver, something, a catalyst that pushes them into a direction. In law, accuser, plaintiff, also theatrical player. Theatrical player. Orator. All right, it says to set in motion, to drive forward. Okay, problem, reaction, solution. Something needs to happen for them to bring in their solution. Okay, to do, to perform, to act on stage. Ooh, play the part of. Interesting. Plead a cause of law. All right, it says a doer, a maker, also a plaintiff at law, one who performs in plays. And plays normally take place on stage. So was they're using the verbiage. We just have to just break it down so we understand what they're actually saying. Okay, so that's what an actor is, right? So based on what they're saying, you're gonna have it says what these synagogues, mosques, blah blah. They present attractive targets for violent attacks or for hoax threats, right? By a variety of threat actors, right? Oh, so act on stage, okay? That's why there's something known as crisis actors. You have these people that all of a sudden sometimes you might see one person who's in so many different same scenario type vibes all the time. He's there. There's a video that was on YouTube some time ago, and there was this one guy, he was in almost every damn so-called mass shooting, bro. Everywhere. Like you see him here, you see him here. He's always doing the same thing, crying. He always survives. This guy, like, bro, you just happen to be there more than 3, 4 times, and you still alive, and you still live to tell the story, and there's always the same story. We got to ban assault rifle. We got to ban assault rifle. Like, bro, those are crisis actors. Okay, and they do these things to provoke uh, uh, um, a reaction out of the people, okay, so then they could bring in their draconian measures, okay? So let's finish this. It says FTOs, or otherwise known as foreign T organizations, and other violent extremists likely will continue to exploit narratives related to the conflict, again, conflict, right? Um, to call for one lone attackers to conduct violence in the United States. Online messaging associated with FTOs and other violent extremists, highlighting the 1 year anniversary of the October 7 attacks, could motivate threat actors across ideologies, including those who espouse violent those who espouse violent anti-Semitism and Islamophobia. Phobia means to be afraid of. So you're afraid of Islam? Doesn't really make sense. But you see, they use these terms or words to provoke a certain reaction. Oh, Islamophobia. Oh my God, that sounds like, oh my God, you know? It says to engage in violence, right? Individuals inspired by this online messaging could act alone to commit an attack with little to no warning. Interesting. Very interesting. Actorish. Actory. Okay, very, very interesting. One who performs in plays. Okay. So it's interesting that they're telling the world about this, right? But um this right here, let's listen. We're gonna listen to a little bit of this, and we're gonna move on from there. All right. And before I do that, I want to say one thing. All right. As you can see, the title goes, okay, 2024 may be the last, the last days of dot dot dot. Last days of dot 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 in the sense of it could be the last days of so many different things. But the number one thing is freedom, right? Esau is pushing this idea that, you know, um, online speech is unmonitored, is like uh, the wild, wild west, you know. So we need to be able to come in and, have some measures to control what people are seeing and all that, ultimately the family of the word. Okay, so that's something that's coming. And that's also going to be the time of Jacob's trouble. We're going to see all these different things when we see the time of Jacob's trouble, as in like its heightened state, because it's already started, but you haven't seen anything yet. Okay, once you start seeing these things that we're about to read and watch and so on and so forth, then you know, okay, yeah, this is that's it. All right, and that's all coming in through they're gonna bring about the MOTB. Okay, but let's check this out right quick. All right, and this is from Alex Jones's loudmouth, Bill Hicks, aka Alex Jones. All right, loudmouth guy. But this is his stuff that he used to do years ago. All right. Again, though we believe he's a controlled opposition. All right. He still brought out information about the opposition. All right. Though he's controlled, he brought out information, or he brought out facts straight up that we could look up and be like, yep. So let's read, or let's listen to a little bit of these facts. All right.
Executive orders. This is how they introduce you. See, they're introducing it all. They denied they're building all this for all these decades. Now, as they unveil it, they're putting their PR spin on it. So Executive Order 10,990 allows the government to take over all modes of transportation and control of highways and seaports. That's been reaffirmed.
See? And lately, what have we been seeing? A lot of these roads, the highways, and so on and so forth are being redone. I mean, we're talking for miles, just clean cut. And then it stops. And then you get to the old regular road, and then some parts it picks up again. I'm like, interesting. You see? Interesting. That's something that's so minute, most people wouldn't even notice, and that's the point. Okay? In your mind, oh yeah, they did fixing the roads. Wow, it's gonna be nice to drive on. But not for you. See, not for you. All right, but they're gonna seize all, transportation and all this because they're gonna have checkpoints everywhere, right? And it's gonna be, they have Easy Pass and all that now, where every time you go, you got cameras snapping you left and right. That was just an excuse for them to bring that type of thing into existence. It's supposed to take a picture of your Easy Pass thing and then you're good to go. But in reality, it takes a whole snapshot of the driver. I mean, these are high-tech cameras. Okay? Your license plates, registration, all that, and then it takes all that information, passes it along to the so-called law enforcers. But yeah, let's keep going.
PDD 51, under the John Warren Defense Authorization Act and others. Executive Order 10,995 allows the government to seize and control the communication media.
All right, and this is all again going back to the FEMA executive orders. We've done videos on that. Okay, we could go into it again, another time. Um, but he's giving you what the information is all about anyway. You know, and what they're going to be doing. All right, if this was to happen, this whole Hamas attack thing was to happen, what could possibly happen in this country? They already have it all planned out. Okay, something known as continuity of government. Okay, which Lord willing, we might be able to get into a little bit of that as well. All right, so let's keep going.
Executive Order 10,997 allows the government to take over all electrical power, gas, petroleum, fuels, and minerals.
See, control of all things. They just need that one major disaster or calamity or attack or whatever for these things to become the mainstay. That's martial law. Okay, the Constitution is null and void. A big enough um, attack, so called, is exactly what they're planning for. That's what the scenario in which they bring the New World Order in is through this type of like violence. Like some shit happens, oh shit, suddenly, right? Right? Because he's saying that back to the thing, oh, individuals inspired by this online messaging could act alone to commit an attack with little to no warning. That means it's sudden. All of boom, just happens. You know, so that's what they're looking for. Let's predictively program these people. Let's prime them for this. Let's put it in their heads. Let them know this is possible. This could happen. Play that scenario out. Exactly what they're saying. They play that shit out, and they tell you, well, we warned you that this was gonna happen. Damn, to the T. Yeah, to the T, because we had intelligence on it, and y'all couldn't do nothing to stop it. Well, it happened with little to no time, and now the American people are suffering. We got no funds for them. We can give you $666 each. Hurricane Helene came in. We was giving $750. This time we're gonna give you $666. You just, in order to come get this, we need to identify you. All this attacks and these natural disasters just cause a hit to the economy. We're struggling on resources. So whoever is gonna be saved, right? This is what we're gonna do. So the post office general will be, uh, registering you, right? Relocation centers will be in effect, and there'll be quite some traveling, interstate traveling. Trains, helicopters, troops on your streets, knocking doors down, grabbing people up, putting you stuffing your ass in cars. People who are defiant, fighting, running around, pop, pop, end of story. They're gonna have these robot dogs with them, coming in full force, coming in hot, ready to work. Again, judgment. Okay? They're gonna be storming a lot of these so-called black neighborhoods. Okay? They got you tricked up thinking that you're living in some affordable housing. Oh, it's a new complex, da da da. It's built in order to have a structure. When they turn on certain 5G, whatever, when they start turning certain things on, the effect that it's gonna have on people, man. So there's so many different things that they got planned. All right, but let's keep watching. Let me shut up.
Executive Order 10998 allows the government to seize all means of transportation, including personal cars, trucks, and vehicles of any kind, and total control over all highways, seaports, and waterways. Executive Order 10999 allows the government to take over all food resources and farms. Executive Order 11,000 allows the government to mobilize civilians into work brigades under government supervision. Executive Order 11,001 allows the government to take over all health, education, welfare functions. What's happening through the imploded economy that the foreign central banks are engineering? Do they make you be beholden to the government? Designates the Postmaster General to operate a national registration of all persons.
Boom. That's the key right there. That's the key right there. Let's go back to that.
The government designates the Postmaster General to...
Boom. Executive Order 11002. Okay? FEMA Executive Order 11002 designates the Postmaster General to operate a national registration of all persons. How do you think they're going to do that? See? How do you think they're going to do that? And what kind of national registration of all persons is this going to be? Because again, that word all comes into play. Okay? Let's see where else do we find the word all. So these all coming together. They already have all this stuff planned out because it has to fulfill biblical prophecy. Esau has to fulfill biblical prophecy, whether he likes it or yes. So everything he does matches up perfectly with prophecy because it says this is what he will do. So when the Lord starts showing these signs, watch out because it leads to exactly what the Lord said he will do. Here's a book of Revelation, chapter 13, verse 16. It says, and he causeth all, okay? All persons, I mean all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive, right? The Greek word there is didomai, right? Means to let's do it. 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 To receive, to receive. There you go. Didomai. Let's listen to it.
Strong's G 1325. Didomi.
Didome.
Didomi.
Didome. Okay, cool. Didome. All right. So didome in the Greek means what? To give. To give something to someone of one's own accord, to give one something to his advantage. Okay? Where's the part that I like so much? Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. To give one to someone as his own, right? Your own. What's your own? Your identity, so-called. Your digital identity. This is your own. All right, as an object of his saving care. In order to buy and sell, this is you're gonna have to have your own ID. We can't identify you as no longer. Everyone has to be an individual. All right. Um, hmm. To grant to grant or permit one to do what? To administer something onto you. I think there's actually. Let me see. Let me see. Yep. Right here. Right here. Right. It says here to give over to one's care and trust or commit. Right. They that shall consent unto them shall be had in derision. All right. Second Ezra is the 16th chapter. All right. All they that consent unto them shall be had in derision. So you entrust in this government, warn to them that run down to Egypt for help. All right. Isaiah 31. So look, you see, something to be administered. What is this? Something to be administered. What is this? Executive Order 11002 designates the Postmaster General to operate a national registration of all persons. That's going to be done by way of the in June. You know, that's what we're telling you. Something to be administered. All right, to give or commit to someone something to be religiously observed. Isn't this how Esau is presenting this thing? Right? This he's gonna push it to counter everything that the scripture says. If you get this, these are people have this C-hip in their brain, and now they can see. Basically the miracles, right? Miracles is closely associated with the religion of Christianity, so called. All right, when you hear miracles, you only think of one book, and that's the Bible. Okay, so these devils are using, all right, AI/technology or whatever, okay, to do things that will be normally associated with the Bible. But on the left hand side, you know what I'm saying, they're using technology rather than the Lord is using words and different actions. They just come in and say, oh, we're just going to use AI to do this. We're going to put a chip in somebody's brain where he can be able to see when he was blind. Bionic eyes, what they call it. Sick shit. Oh, you could walk now. Put this thing in your brain. You could go into your neurons, and your central nervous system connects to the the skeletal blah blah, and then saying now you can get up and you can walk. Man, what a miracle. You take the C-hip, man, the things you could do. I mean, you could download information in your brain and translate it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh shit, okay, wow, look. That's how it's being pitched to you. But as they say, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Right? So this is what they're saying. So let's go back. All right. Finish it off here. So now we know what the word didomai means, right? Okay. So it says what? didomai, which is receive, a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. That's the registration. That's being done in the form of the registration, the digital registration. Okay. So again, just using it in modern day terms so you can see the picture much more clearer. Okay, because you need to have this registration in order to do everything. You know, your identity is that registration. Okay.
A national registration of all persons. That goes on through the Selective Service. Executive Order 11003 allows the government to take over all airports, aircraft, including commercial aircraft. Remember when they shut down all flights after 9/11? Executive Order 11004 allows the Housing and Finance Authority to relocate communities, build new housing with public funds, designate areas to be abandoned, and establish new locations for populations. Remember Louisiana, Mississippi, Katrina?
Brownie, you're doing a heck of a job. The FEMA director is what you're doing.
Executive Order 11005 allows government to take over all railroads, inland waterways, and public storage facilities. Executive Order 11051 specifies the responsibility of the Office of Emergency Planning and gives authorization to put all executive orders into effect in times of increased international tensions and economic or financial crises.
Boom. Isn't that what the FBI/DHS people just came out and said? That due to some conflict in overseas somewhere, it could affect, us over here or Americans over here. See?
Order 11,310 grants authority to the Department of Justice to enforce the plans set out in executive orders, to institute industrial support, to establish judicial and legislative liaison, to control all aliens, to operate penal and correctional institutions, and to advise and assist the president. So that's your FEMA camps.
Mm-hmm. There you go. There you go. That's your FEMA camps. Okay? That's your FEMA camps. All right, it's the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 16. Start at 68, it says, "For behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, and they shall take away certain of you, and feed you, being idle with things offered unto idols." So the whole process of executive orders now is going to officially become law. All right, for a time period at least. They said what when these things become they're in effect, Congress can't even review it for 6 months. Bro, a lot could happen in 6 months. That's a long time. When they were pushing the Vanessa, they were doing it for at least 6 months, right? They're pushing that thing, man. It's like, I remember Biden be on TV talking about, what are you waiting for? We're running out of patience. Like, you better go do it. You're keeping everyone else up. You're holding everyone up. Like, nigga, what? Bro, you holding everybody up. You sit your ass down sometimes. But that was what they were pushing. Rochelle Walensky, that demon. All right, should be pulling up talking about the CDC recommends this and do that and do this. This demon Fauci coming out talking about, look, it's safe, it's effective, go get it. You know what I'm saying? Hey, no excuses. If not, you're gonna keep wearing masks. You're not gonna go see your families and blah 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 blah. See, so that was just the beginning. So now they're saying, look, we better have to turn up on these people. Okay, it's time to bring down the hammer. We ain't got much time. That's Revelation 12 and 12. Okay, that burning wrath of a great multitude, the military, okay, is kindled over you because they come in guns blazing. They have orders. You got the red list, the blue list, and you got the yellow list. That's a burning wrath coming towards you now. If you're on the red list, you already know what time it is. Okay, and we know that we're already on the red list because we fit all the categories that they've made up, so they can get us hemmed up or something. Like, like back in the time of Yahushua, what was happening? You had a lot of these wicked ass dudes who come up and try to set up the Lord, in his words, and trying to trip him up, say things that's like outlandish, just so he could say something back. So, oh yo, listen, he said this. So when he finally gave them the answer that they were looking for, yes, I am the son of I am the son of the Lord, the Heavenly Father. I'm his son. He said, what? What you mean you did this guy over here? No, that's blasphemy. We're done. We got him. So they turned the truth into a lie. They turned the truth into something harmful. They call it hate. What? He said, what? You telling the truth? What you do? Boy, get him. So a great wrath, right, of a multitude is kindled over you, And they shall take away certain of you, not all of us, but some, right? And feed you, being idle with things offered unto idols. So if you end up in these camps, understand that you're just not a regular old person. For Esau to physically come after you and grab you up like that, that means you're a high level spirit. And they've done their spiritual research to find out who you are. Oh, and this person is this. We need to get him. You know? And that's all going to be written off in the scriptures. In the last days, the Lord said some of us might get our heads chopped off. You know? But we'll see. And then they that consent unto them shall be had in derision and reproach and trodden underfoot. Okay? For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. So females going to be doing that. Okay? Females going to be doing that. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as the gold in the fire. Hear, O ye my beloved, saith the Lord, behold, the days of trouble are at hand. See? That's what we're warning about. The days of trouble, the days of trouble, the days of trouble, they're at hand. That means they're here. But I will deliver you from the same. So fear not. All right, you're in the spirit of not fearing. Okay, having faith rather than fear, because you know these things are going to happen. Isaiah 33:6. So when they start happening, you've imagined it so many times in your head that when it finally hits, you have this sense of calm, like, wow, this is actually happening. Like, it's just more like, wow, look, this is, damn, Lord, like, wow. It's just amazing. You're just going to be hearing the stories for the most part. Sometimes you might witness it because it might be a family, it might be a friend, but the judgment is going to be going out. And you're still going to be, you're going to be protected no matter what. Because the Lord said that. He said, I will deliver you from the same. In other words, the hour of temptation, Yahweh Shai said he's going to deliver us. He's going to keep us from that time. How's he going to do that? Well, he got angels. Daniel, the 12th chapter. Okay, they're going to fight on our behalf. So we're very, very confident that we will pass this test when the time comes. The Lord will make a way. All right, he will make a way. Verse 75, it says, be ye not afraid, neither doubt. There you go. For the Most High is your guide. So what are we worried about? We should rejoice, as it says in Revelation 12:12. When the troubles are coming, we rejoice in. Because we know that, hey, the Lord's going to fight on our behalf, number one, and he's going to deliver us, number two, when he comes back. Okay? It says immediately after those days of tribulation. So it's not going to take too long. All right, it's going to be for a short time, but that's why it's going to be so impactful. As in the guide of them who keep my commandments and precepts, saith the Lord power, let not your sins weigh you down, and let not your iniquities lift up themselves. Woe be unto them that are bound with their sins and covered with their iniquities, like as a field is covered over with bushes. And that's the typical American for you, man. All right? They're just iniquity after iniquity. It's all coming out. All the people that so-called influence the minds of everyone around here, they're all wicked as hell. It was all coming out. A whole bunch of weirdo demons. All right? So you can imagine the minds of these people who, for so long, was supporting these kind of demonic creatures, man. They're all demons. All right? It's just a matter of time before those demons get called up for full-time shifts. That's when you're going to see a whole lot of madness going on. It's all going to come out, man. All right? And ultimately, they're going to be destroyed. It says, in the path thereof covered with thorns, that no man may travel through. It is left undressed and is cast into the fire to be consumed therewith. All right? Ultimately, when the missiles hit. Okay? But, man, look, things are about to get very, very interesting all the way up from now till then. Okay? Let me see if we got a little bit more on this, and then I might just close it out, or I might read a little something or something else, but we'll see.
Executive Order 11,049 assigns emergency preparedness functions to federal departments and agencies, consolidating 21 operational executive orders issued at 15-year period. Executive Order 11,921 allows the Federal Emergency Preparedness Agency to develop plans to establish control over the mechanisms of production and distribution of energy sources, wage, salaries, credit, and the flow of money in U.S. financial institution, and any undefined national emergency at all.
Interesting, right? The ports that control the entry of goods and services for the American economy can be controlled by FEMA. And we've seen what they're saying about Hurricane Helene. So they said the dock workers came to a tentative agreement. It's up to supposed to last till January or whatever. So let's just say something was to happen from now till then, and FEMA has to take control of these ports and all that, and how people are supposed to be getting products, aid and such and such. And FEMA is at the helm, and they're telling you straight up, we have nothing to give you. Meanwhile, you know clearly that, oh, look, you guys are holding everything back. You're stopping people from, delivering the goods. What do you think is going to happen? It's another thing to think about. Let's keep going.
Provides that when a state of emergency is declared by the president, Congress cannot review the action for 6 months.
See? Once it's declared, Executive Order 11921. It also provides that when a state of emergency is declared by the president, Congress cannot review the action for 6 months. Why 6? Why not 7? Completion, you know what I mean? Makes more sense. No, 6.
PDD 51 says never.
When a new administration takes over the presidency, old executive orders are reauthorized as new executive orders, expanding their unconstitutional power. Okay? Now I'm going to pause it right there. And like I said, I put the link in the description. If you want to check it out about Kushal, go ahead. But I wanted to read something real quick. All right, and then we're going to close it out. Just take another 5 to 10 minutes. All right, but it's a book by Garrett M. Graff by the name, or the book of the name of the book is Raven Rock. Okay, and pretty much goes into a lot of, let's just say a lot of things. All right, a lot of things. I want to read this real quick. Okay, I believe the apostles actually mentioned this before as well. All right, going into something known as continuity of government, and what how that will play out in the case of some form of emergency, like kind of what the FBI is talking about here, right? It says the nuclear age also transformed the presidency from a single person working in the White House to a much broader idea. While most Americans thought of a president as the person who they elected every 4 years on the first Tuesday after the first Monday in November, the presidency, quote unquote, by the 1970s represented a long line of men and women, stretching through both houses of Congress and through every cabinet agency, each ready to step into the void left by the deaths or incapacity ahead of them in the line of succession. Okay, cool. While the person was replaceable, the position was not. The presidency literally had an A team, a B team, and even a C team. In the event of an emergency, kind of like what the FBI is talking about, each team and its designated president had a different role and a different evacuation destination. The Alpha team, which in most cases included the elected president, would remain in Washington and, by design, be sacrificed almost immediately in an attack. Very, very interesting verbiage right there. Sacrificed, right? We hear the word inauguration. Now we hear the word sacrifice, which the word inauguration, it means to summon up. Okay, you're summoning up what? One can only imagine. All right, it says the Bravo team would head to Mount Weather, a sprawling secret bunker in the hills of Virginia, built to withstand a nuclear attack. The Charlie team would head to any of the nearly 100 hidden facilities available within an hour of Washington that the government would activate in an emergency. Okay. Now we're gonna jump down a little bit and let's read. It says, beginning during the Cold War and continuing up to the present day, the Central Locator System (CLS), a special office of the Federal Emergency Management Agency (FEMA), once again, tracks these officials and their whereabouts 24 hours a day, ready to whisk them away from their regular lives at a moment's notice. While many people are familiar with the military's DEFCON alerts, a system that tracks the U.S. military state of readiness, which is defense condition, DEFCON, from DEFCON 5, representing peacetime, to DEFCON 1, representing complete global war. Okay? Now I'm going to pause there and we're going to jump down to something here that's also very interesting. Again, biblical prophecy. It says the result of the president launching the nation's bombers, submarines, and missiles against Russia, interesting, would almost surely destroy not only both countries, but all human life on the entire planet. Well, that's not going to happen that way. But all human life in America, yes, definitely yes. Okay. Um, and sometimes they use the word world. It's really talking about just the American world, right? That's pretty much some of these people talk about world. They think they're the only people in the world, like actual planet. They use terms like the World Series. Come to find out, it's just two. It's like baseball teams that playing in two different leagues that meet up at the final. Like, what about the rest of the world? Like the rest of the other nations that play baseball? Oh, that's the World Baseball Classic. Oh, so World Series is it's just like whatever. But you still be playing games like that anyway. Anyway, so let's keep going. Um, it says there were some 30,000 nuclear weapons in the U.S. arsenal, and the rough equivalent, one CIA director calculated, of 55 billion traditional 500-pound TNT bombs from World War II. Damn. Enough, as he said, to carpet each state in the Union with a billion bombs and still have 5 billion bombs left over. Damn. Goddamn. It says from start to finish, the entire process would take under an hour. Ooh. Under an hour. That sounds very, very familiar, right? Let's see. Revelation 18 should come to mind. Let's see. Right here. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 18, verse 10. It says, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, right? The nuclear destruction, right? Nuclear destruction, saying, alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. So this is all in succession. You got the troubles that are coming that ultimately leads to America's destruction. Okay? Verse 17, jumping down, it says, for in 1 hour, so great riches is come to naught. What does that mean? It's destroyed. America is gone. And every shipmaster and all the company in ships and sailors, and as many as trade by sea stood afar off. All right, click on that. And cried when they saw the smoke of her burning. Smoke of her burning. What? Saying, what city is like unto this great city? There's no country that has been in existence like that of America. She took off all the great things that all these other old ancient empires did by their wickedness. See, in this time period, no other nation on this earth is like America. It's just it's incredible, really, when you really look at it. It's like what kind of country, you know? And it started off, with the illusion of, the founding fathers came around and they pushed this God-fearing spirit of, blah blah whatever. And then for time, it just became corrupt and no, this is how the Lord set it up. This is how it's always been. You're just not seeing it. See? Verse 19, it says, "And they cast dust on their heads and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, Alas, alas, that great city, wherein were made rich all that had ships in the sea by reason of her costliness. For in 1 hour is she made desolate." Okay, so America's destruction happens within 1 hour. That's what this guy is saying here. All right, from start to finish, the entire process would take under an hour. So they know. Even as the nation lay in ruins, even as the nation lay in ruins at the end of that hour, listen to this shit. The government would have already carefully considered how the United States itself, um, right, how the idea of the United States would continue forward. It's just, at that point, it's just an idea. There ain't no reality. It's just an idea. But that idea is just vain. Because you're going to be hiding right in them rocks, all right? And then your house is going to come in and dig you up, all right? Grab you up, shackle you up, and there's the beginning of your time. You got to serve your time. You're going to serve your time. You elites, you're going to serve your time. All right? For 1,000 years. You die, you come back, you die, you come back. You're just going to keep serving that for 1,000 years. It says, pre-written presidential executive orders sat in office safes across Washington, as did secret draft legislation known as the Defense Resource Act, ready to be filled in Mad Libs style with dates and emergencies that laid out an entirely new structure and entirely new roles for how the government would function during a national emergency, effectively suspending the Constitution and Bill of Rights. So, how the government will function. FEMA executive orders. Okay? The presidential football is well known, but less. Okay, blah, blah, blah. I'm just saying that. All right, going back, it says the post office would be in charge of registering the nation's dead. The National Park Service, this is all just their idea. They're going to be in their underground bunkers, whatever, their luxurious underground bunkers, having these ideas again, thinking this is how we're going to have to do this again. Da, da, da. Nope. It's all vain. Right? The National Park Service would run the refugee camps. The Department of Agriculture would distribute rationed food. So this right here, this idea, tell you something. It doesn't even have to happen in their mind as okay, once World War III hits and the nuclear missiles hit America, this is how we're gonna rise out the ashes and keep building. No. This could happen with another fabricated FF false flag, right? Big enough to hit multiple cities, big enough to convince the people that yes, this is the only way out. That's how they're gonna do it. Okay, food is gonna be rationed. All right, it says Congress will retreat to a special bunker at a West Virginia resort. The Supreme Court, listen to this, the Supreme Court would relocate to another resort in the North Carolina mountains. Interesting. Ain't that the same kind of areas that Hurricane Helene has been hitting? Very interesting. Very, very interesting. The Department of the Interior would move to the grounds of a former college in Harper's Ferry. The Federal Reserve kept an underground bunker stocked with $1 billion cash inside Mount Pony, 70 miles south of Washington. FEMA would help the nation. Here we go. They will help the nation rebuild from regional bunkers in places like Denton, Texas, and Maynard, Massachusetts. And let me see. Yep, that's pretty much. I'm gonna stop there. All right, but again, this is what their plan is. Okay, this is what their plans are, or some of their plans. All right, that we're just attacking through the spirit, just tying things in. All right, because once the FBI comes out and start talking about these threats and shit, all right, we need to understand what they're really trying to say, and what that could lead to if what they're saying actually comes to pass. It can happen suddenly. So that's why we're breaking it down like that. That's why we're going into it like that. But yeah, I'm gonna just like I said, there's this also. We're gonna end it off with this. I was going through the comments, and it's so telling. All right, it's so telling as to what America has become. It is 10 years ago. It says, "Peace is a brief and glorious time in history where everyone stands around reloading." You know, this guy says, "I'm a U.S. Marine vet, and any Marine or soldier who would consider pulling down on their own American citizens is a disgrace to their uniforms." Well, these kind of people are no longer in the military. All right, the people who are in the military are trained to look at the American citizen as their enemy. Right, the police force, security agencies, like that's how they train you. All right, I've been in security, so I know they will train you to look at the civilian like the enemy. They don't train you to go protect the civilians. They don't train you like that. All right. So his kind of mindset, they don't have that type of mindset anymore, at least. All right. So they will be doing what they got to do. It says, "I would suggest that you young men and women who love and care about your family, blah, 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 blah." How in the F can we be letting this happen? We would never let any other country do this to another country without sending in troops, and we are completely blind to what is happening in our own soil. That's true. All right, because America is quick to go and aid another country that's at war, but then they do the same exact thing, sometimes even worse to their own citizens over here, and nobody comes to their aid, or some come to the people's aid. The UN is nowhere to be found. They just, I mean, we're not seeing these things. I mean, what's going on? I mean, we're powerless in this type of situation, and technically, they haven't really done anything, and we didn't really have any evidence that they did. And this guy, what's this guy? Sergey Lavrov from Russia. Okay, and he was blasting off on Babylon so much. I said, "Damn, this is amazing." I'll see if I could post that video up after this live. But he was going into it. How the hypocrisy of America. All these countries, everyone is finally waking up to America's BS, man, and it's all coming out, especially after this whole Israel thing. Okay, now it's like, oh, okay, now we see that you motherfuckers worship these Jays, man. Overseas, these other countries, they know how these Jays move, man. They don't worship them like they do over here in the West. They despise them. That's why a lot of the Jays run over here and come chill over here. Because over there, they're despised. Because people know them for who they are. They call them the Zionists, you know? um, it says, "I think this is so relevant to what we're seeing currently." All right, so somebody said this. All right, he said, "Wow, damn near everything discussed in this broadcast has literally been playing out right before our eyes, even Antifa, 4 years ago. This needs to be posted and talked about a lot more. Doesn't matter what the press says, doesn't matter what the politicians or mobs say, doesn't matter if the whole country decides that something wrong is something right." Right, okay. This one right here, it says, "I watch America from a New Zealander or a New Zealander point of view, and it looks like a bad Hollywood movie, right?" Crisis actors. "The U.S. has the biggest armed forces in history, yet can't stop tons of drugs flooding the country from Mexico, Afghanistan, Colombia, and other third world countries." Yeah, that's because it's facilitated by the damn CIA. They're the ones who are doing all this. They're the ones behind all this BS, right? The Central Intelligence Agency. What a clown show, man. That's why Ted Gunderson was berating them and exposing them. He said all the crime. What's this guy? Pompeo. All right. He was was he the attorney general? No, that was Barr. He was damn, what was Mike Pompeo? Mike Pompeo, that guy, he got mad skinny. Thought he had cancer or something. When he was during Trump's administration, he was there and he was he the head of the FBI or the CIA? Some one of them, anyway. And he was saying it that yeah, the CIA, FBI, whatever, we cheat, we lie, we steal, we kill, da da da. He said we've done all these things. Like what we this is what we do. I said you're right. We know that, but the American people don't know that. But they're now learning that this is what's going on. This truly your true identity. All right. It says they talk about defending the USA, but who's wants to invade and geographically isolated country with 300 million racist people with guns. Exactly, right? Who's gonna actually invade a country like America? The FBI comes up and spews this madness, but people around the world can see it like this is BS. It's not real. You know, that's why the Lord says he's going to use missiles, because you can't use an army to come over here to make war. That's why it's really never happened. No other country has sent their military to come to America to fight against America like how America does to these other countries. See? It says the national debt is unpayable. They have the biggest prison population in the world. And as for the WTC collapse, World Trade Center collapse, that was a controlled demolition if ever there was one. See? The USA is occupying more countries than the Nazis ever did. They are they are the only country to use nukes during wartime and don't realize that they're headed into being a third world country themselves. This is 9 years ago. Dave Pope music. Best of luck, but I can see some sort of uprising is needed for the American people to gain back what was once a great country. Well, guess what? An uprising is only going to bring it's going to be a manufactured uprising, which is going to bring martial law. Okay. So I just want to bring that one out. All right. See, this is 12 years ago, and a lot of people are starting to catch up to this, right? I have been watching this video or his videos for years. At first, I thought he came off like a used car salesman, but after watching and researching on my own, I have found that what he says is true. He has made this his job, made this his job slash life. It costs money to produce these videos and shows he puts on. Look at the budget of Hollywood movies, cameras, and equipment. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, cool. It makes me happy that people are finally waking up, but I don't think it really makes a difference at this point. Yep, she knows. Well, Amber went. This is 9 years ago. 9 years ago. You know how much has changed in 9 years? People don't think like this anymore. This type of language has disappeared. You go into most comment sections, you don't see people talking this type of things. Like, nah, we have given this power to them and they have taken it and ran. Only God can help us now. Well, guess what? God ain't helping. God's going to destroy this place. All right? God's going to destroy this place. Okay? But this is the reality, man. All right? This is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2. All right, in verse 16, it says, Thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of the Lord's Yahweh, the cup of the Lord's right hand, Yahweh's right hand, shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory. All right, so the rest of the world knows. Okay, and it's not just America; it's them Jays too. All right, they walk side by side. All right, they walk side by side. Okay, but yeah, just wanted to bring that out real quick. Um, it's kind of late. So I'm ending off there. All right, Lord willing, you're edified and informed. In closing, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem B'chak the water Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. And until next time, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai Thumb to brothers and sisters of the elect household of faith. Shalom, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai Thumb. Shalom.